Alright guys, this is going to be my easy ultimate guide to completing the main Easter egg quest solo here on CitadelleDesMorts. This is definitely going to be a bit of a tougher one. This is the hardest map that we have here in Black Ops 6 Zombies so far by far. If you're looking for a bit of a challenge and you want to get this done solo, we definitely got you covered here today. With that, welcome on back to the channel everybody. If y'all don't know, I'm Ghost. Appreciate everybody that stops by the video today. If you guys are into zombies content or anything that is Call of Duty, consider rocking the hell out of that like button for me and subscribe to the channel guys. We just hit 25,000 subscribers. We're on the road to 26k and I cannot thank you guys enough for all the love and support. It does mean a lot to me. I can't wait to get into everything about this Easter egg with you guys after a real brief word from today's sponsor. If you guys are looking to unlock any of those mastery camos here in Black Ops 6 Zombies, including Abyss, Nebula, and Dark Matter, be sure to check out Mitch Cactus. They offer the most reliable services for Call of Duty, including bot lobbies, camos, or pre-made accounts. Whatever it is that you may need and just don't have the time to grind out, the Mitch Cactus definitely has you covered, and with all the positive reviews on Trustpilot, you guys should definitely check them out. Be sure to take advantage and use code REALG for 5% off your entire order for a limited time only. Alright guys, so the very first thing that I would recommend you do when spawning in here to Citadel is to stay in the spawn room and get yourself up to round 9 as fast as possible. Not only will this give you a little bit of time to build up some points so that way you can go around and open up the map, there's also going to be a special enemy type that spawns in after round 10 that we need. We're going to go ahead and open up the map at round 9 so that way we can take a couple of shortcuts here. Once we make our way up to the castle, we're going to have to turn this cannon around and then fire it at the door so that way we can get inside. Once we make our way inside the castle, there's going to be 2 doors that we are able to open, and I'm going to recommend you guys open up the door to the left. This way is going to take you into the sitting room's passage, and while you're inside of this room, we're going to be looking for 4 pieces of paper. All 4 of these pieces of paper all have eyeballs drawn on them, be it a little bit different each one. These pieces of paper do have different spawns each game. They're really not that hard to find, and they'll all be in this same little room. Once we've gone ahead and found all 4 of our pieces of paper, we're going to continue on our way to the marked marker, and we're going to open a pack punch now. Once you get to the marker, you'll notice a box with 3 locks on it. You're going to go ahead and shoot those locks off. There's going to be a doppelgas inside. Once you kill this doppelgas, he's going to drop you a red crystal. You're just going to go ahead and take that crystal, put it inside of the rift, and your pack punch will spawn in. Next, we're going to make our way over and talk to Craft, and he is just behind the quick revive machine. There is a little room. Let's go ahead and hold square on the door, and it will begin the talking sequence. Now, you can just go ahead and walk away. You don't have to sit there and listen to him. Next, we're going to make our way up to the Alchemy lab. Inside of this room, you are going to be looking for an artifact. Now, it can be 5 different things, but you're only going to get 1 spawning in per game. You could get the jawbone. You could get the 2 twin bird skulls. You could get the fish. There's also a horn and a scorpion. You guys can see I found the fish fossil on this shelf right here, and all of the other items basically spawn in on all the other shelves in the room. Next, we're going to make our way back out to the dining hall where the knight statues are, and we're going to look up and shoot the red crystal that is hanging from the wall. So we do this enough times, it will align where it's supposed to be, and you will get a solid beam. You're going to want to repeat this process a bunch of times until you get the beam to line up on the table inside of the Alchemy lab. At this point, where you now should be able to pick up the paladin's brooch. We're going to make our way back out to the dining hall where the knights are, and we're going to see a glowing gold spot on the ground. We interact with it, we're going to put down the paladin's brooch, and it's going to act as a soul box. Basically, all we're going to have to do is get a bunch of kills around this thing, and don't worry, there's going to be a lot of zombies spawning around you. It's not very difficult. We are also now at round 10, and we can start looking for those zombies that are going to have a knight's helmet on, and once we kill these guys, they're going to be dropping us a stamp. We can trade these stamps to the knights for one of their swords. We're going to be going with the light sword first, which is going to be the one with the lion on it, because not only is this one of the easiest ones to upgrade, but it's also the cantation for the box that we just filled. Once you grab the light sword from the knight, you will notice that there's going to be a bunch of parasites spawning in that are glowing. We're going to have to hit these guys with the sword. Once we do that, you'll notice that now your sword is glowing. We're going to take our sword down to the upper village where we see this door with a lion head on it. We're going to hit it. Symbol should appear on the door. After we repeat this process 3 more times, we should be able to interact with the door. We can go inside. Once we're inside here, there's going to be a stone which we can insert the sword into. There's going to be symbols that are glowing on the bottom of the stone, and we're going to have to shoot the corresponding symbols on the wall. So we've gone ahead and shot all 4 symbols correctly. We should have a charged up sword. Now we can make our way back up to the dining hall where we charged up that soul box, and we can now melee it with our charged up sword to open it up. Now we have our light cantation. The sword we're going to grab is going to be the lightning sword, which is going to be for the deer. For this sword, we're going to have to collect 3 lightning rods. The first one's going to be really easy to find. It's just right next to Deadshot to the left. Next one can be found by coming to the upper village and shooting this box with a weapon that has dead wire on it, and it should pop out onto the ground. Last lightning rod can be found by randomly killing zombies with the sword. Full disclaimer, I have seen these things drop everywhere, but I've had the most luck with them in the quick revive room. Now that we've got all 3 lightning rods, we're going to make our way up on top of the castle wall here. We're going to place them inside of this vase here. As we do that, a storm is going to start and there's going to be a bunch of zombies spawning in. Now what you're going to have to do is melee these zombies with the sword, and it's going to end up charging up the sword after you kill about 3 or 4 zombies. Once the sword is charged up, you're going to go ahead and smack the urn with it. Now you're going to have to do this at least 4 or 5 times before it's fully charged up. Once you got the vase fully charged up, you're going to see a bunch of electricity on it. You can just walk up to it, press activate, it'll take the sword and upgrade it. Now that we've got the sword, we're going to need the item for the incantation, so we're going to come down to this barn right here and we're going to shoot the horseshoe off the wall. Once we have acquired our horseshoe, we're going to make our way back up to the castle where we're going to shoot ourselves out of the cannon, and you're going to notice a bunch of sparks fly. When we do that, that means that our horseshoe has been charged up. We're going to be taking a look in the sky and we're going to be looking for a big storm cloud. No, not the one from the Sam trial. It's going to look similar but not quite. We've spotted the storm, we're going to make our way over there, and that's where our charged up horseshoe is going to be. We picked up our horseshoe, we're going to make our way back into spawn, and that's where our gold spot on the ground is going to be. We're going to go ahead and set down the horseshoe, and same thing, it's going to act as a soul box. We're going to go ahead and kill a bunch of zombies around this thing until we've charged up the box. We've got our soul box filled, we're going to go ahead and melee it with the lightning sword, and there we go, we got our lightning incantation. Now, if your guys' memory isn't quite the greatest, kind of like mine, recommend getting a pen and paper for this next step. It's just going to make it a whole lot easier. I decided to go into the bar at this point, and I was going to write down my 6 symbols that I'm going to need to get this next step done. Here inside of the bar, you will notice that there are these little bottles on the tables. There's going to be 6 of these things. Now they do have Roman numerals 1 through 6 on them, and they will have little shapes on them. You're either going to have to memorize or write down these symbols 1 through 6, because we're going to need these in the correct order later on. Now that I've gotten my numbers from the bar, I'm going to make my way up back into the dining hall and grab my next sword. For this one, we're going to be working on the dragon sword. Top of the stairs in the dining hall, there is a big dragon statue where we can insert our sword. Now there's going to be 3 bowls of fire that are around the map that we're going to have to borrow fire from and bring it all the way back to our sword. That way we can charge this thing up. First one we can find on top of the castle wall, and this one is really easy to get back to the dragon to with no problems. The other 2 can be found towards the spawn room, and unfortunately if you just try to run straight back to the dragon, it will kill you. Now there is a way that we can get past this. There's going to be zombies spawning in with purple glowing eyes, and if you melee these guys while you are on fire, your health will come back. Once we've returned to the dragon 3 times with fire, he will breathe fire on top of the sword and get it fully charged up for us. We're going to be making our way back out in front of the castle, and there's going to be 3 piles of wood that we have to set on fire. Now my recommended way to do this is at least have 2 Molotovs. It's just going to make it way easier. Our first one was found up and to the left of the castle. Now the second one is going to be found just right in the very center. We're going to use our sword to get this one. The very last one is going to be found off to the right of the castle. We're just going to look over the wall and we're going to throw a Molotov at it. Once we've gone ahead and lit all 3 of these, there's going to be a doppelgas that spawns in. We're going to need to kill this guy with our fire sword, and he's going to be dropping us our next piece. The same thing like with the other ones, just here in the courtyard, there's going to be a glowing gold spot on the ground. There's going to be a soul box. I'm going to go ahead and fill this thing up, and then we're going to swipe it with the sword, and we have our fire incantation. Next, we're going to go ahead and get the raven sword out of the way. Now, upgrading this sword is actually tied to the artifact that we were picking up in the room earlier. We're going to make our way to the basement of the bar, and there's going to be this wheel down there where we can insert our sword and place our artifact. Now, I'm going to make this really simple for you guys because this was a step that kind of irritated me a little bit. I'm going to toss up a chart up on the screen right here, and whatever artifact that you guys placed on the wheel, just go ahead and match it up with the chart. That will go ahead and start our next step. You're going to notice that there are like these dark ether portals on the ground, and there's going to be orbs that are shooting out of our wheel. Now we're going to have to lead these orbs to these dark ether portals. There will be a total of 3 of these things, and you got to be careful because not only will these orbs blow up on you and they actually hurt you, but you can also end up shooting these things if you have zombies around you and that blows them up. You just kind of got to be a little bit careful. There's going to be a portal in the basement, then there will be a portal on the first floor, and then there will be a portal on the upper floor. So we've gone ahead and filled all 3 of these portals with our orbs. You're going to notice that there's an orb that spawns back in and is going to go back into the basement where we can then pick up our upgraded sword. And we're going to be making our way back up to the Pack-a-Punch room, and we're going to be taking the cave slide this time around. You get about 3/4 of the way down the slide, you'll notice that there is a raven that is sitting in there, and you will have to shoot it with your gun so you can spook it out of the tunnel. Once you get to the spawn room, you'll notice it flying in the sky. You just have to shoot it out the sky, and that's when you will get the raven's talon. When we've got the raven's talon, we're going to be making our way down into the undercroft where we're going to be finding another one of those gold spots on the ground. We're going to place down the raven's talon, and it's our soul box again. Go ahead and completely fill this thing up and then melee it with the sword, and there you go, you have your dark incantation. Now that we've got all 4 of our swords upgraded, it's time to start with the real fun stuff. stuff. For this next step, we're going to want to make sure that we have melee macchiato. Remember those symbols that we wrote down on the bar? You're going to need those handy now. We're going to make our way down to the undercroft again, and you're going to notice this spot on the wall with bricks that looks like there's something behind it. Go ahead and melee that. Now, it's at this point you're going to have to be shooting those symbols 1 through 6 in the order that we had them at in the bar. Once you shoot the first symbol, the symbols are going to start like scrambling around, so it's a little bit difficult. If you've got to save a crawler for this step, that might be a little bit advised. Once we've got all 6 of our symbols shot, there's going to be a red orb that comes out, and it's going to reveal the book right next to it. Do you remember the pages that we collected from the room earlier? We're going to go ahead and lay down those 4 pages on top of this book. On those pages, you're going to see the glowing red symbols from the traps that you can see laying around the map. We're going to have to kill zombies inside of these traps with the sword, and we're going to need to do them in order. The way the order goes is the left page and then the right page, top to bottom. Now, you'll know that you'll end up completing the trap by the trap finishing itself early. You can also go back down to the book and see if the pages are still lit up. If they're still lit up, then you did the wrong one. With all 4 of our traps done, now we can make our way to the undercroft stairway. You'll notice on this wall we have our 4 symbols with Roman numerals on them, 1 through 4, and we're going to have to complete these going clockwise. Mine went raven, deer, dragon, lion. We're going to make our way back to the statues. We're going to grab our incantation first, starting with dark. What we're going to have to do is hit the statue with the incantation. The statue is glowing the color. We're going to inspect our sword in front of the statue. If we do this correctly, then the statue is actually going to salute us, and then it's going to glow. So we've gone ahead and hit all 4 statues with their corresponding incantation and done the weapon inspect in front of all of them. All of them should be glowing at this point. I also do believe they all have to be holding their swords at this point in time, but I could be wrong on that. If all of the statues are glowing, they will meet in the middle, and they will drop you down an orb. So we have our mystic orb. There's going to be 4 locations around the map that we have to take this thing. First one for light can be found just across from Vulture's Aid. You're going to stick it on the wall. This is one of the easier ones. There's going to be these glowing green orbs that are flying around the room, and basically all you're going to have to do is stand in these things for a couple of seconds, and it will release the orb, and it will go over to the orb that you have on the wall. Once you've gone ahead and done enough of these things, it will fill up the orb, and you should be able to go over and pick it back up. It says start challenge again, then you failed it. The next spot for our mystic orb can be found in the courtyard right here. For this challenge, we're going to be needing to get kills with fire, so you can use your fire incantations. You can be using the charge effect from the sword. You could be using molotovs. Just as long as you're killing zombies with fire, then it should be working towards your elemental challenge. Next spot for our mystic orb can be found in the town square right on the wall here. This one is going to be for electricity, so we can go ahead and grab that lightning incantation. You can also go ahead and kill zombies with the charge effect from the sword. Once we've got this one done, all we need left is to do one more. This one I kind of usually find to be the most difficult. It can be found in the undercroft on the wall right here. For this one, we need to be getting kills with that dark incantation, and you can also be using the Shadow Rift ammo mod. Unfortunately, the kills actually won't count. It's going to actually have to prog that Shadow Rift. Now that we've got our mystic orb completely full of all of our elementals, the hardest part for getting this Easter egg done is pretty much over. We're going to make our way back to the undercroft stairway where those symbols were, and we're going to go ahead and place our mystic orb in here, and there's going to be a doorway that opens. As we get inside, that's where we're finally going to meet this man they call the Owl, and we're also going to be given the Guardian key. It's at this point we are actually almost boss ready. Only thing left to do is to place this Guardian key at the statue in the spawn room, and after that, that's it. We are going to be inside of the boss fight, so I would recommend taking this time now to make sure you have all of your weapons legendary, make sure you got triple packed and all of the perks that you're going to need, because this boss fight is honestly extremely hard, guys. I have tried this now 4 times as a solo player, and I have failed every single time now. Trust me, guys, I will figure out a good strategy to taking down this Guardian solo, and once I do, I will definitely put out a video on that. If you guys do happen to beat the Guardian, he will end up dropping you an artifact. Once you go ahead and pick that thing up, that's when you will get the cutscene. And that is it, guys. That is how you complete the CitadelleDesMorts Easter egg completely solo. I know this one took a little bit longer than usual, and I do apologize for that, guys. I know that there's already a bunch of guides on how to do this out there already, but hopefully we were able to help out somebody today. If you guys could help me by doing the biggest favor in the world and just dropping a like on the video, maybe leaving a comment to tell YouTube that they need to push out the video a little bit more to other people, would be very much appreciated. No, the algorithm just might try to bury this one. With that, I'm going to wrap up the video. I do just want to say thank you guys again. Hope you guys are enjoying the new map. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one.